It's time for time. Ha ha ha. Isn't that great? So guys, this is tool is going to be really helpful. Part of the reason why I really like it is because as you move the minute hand, the hour hand automatically changes, just like it does in real analog clocks. So I think it's a really cool tool, and it also helps you read the minutes here in blue. So we're gonna kind of go over how you can learn this. I'm super excited that you get to play with them. This is a tool that needs to be returned to the school when we're all done with this, but I wanted you to have it home now because it's very, very, very useful. So we're gonna practice telling time to the 5 minutes. This is something that you could easily practice at home with family members, practice reading the clocks around the house. I know it's common now that a lot of people read digital clocks, but there's still a lot of analog clocks at home and around the world, and so it's really important that we know how to use them. So we're going to read across the top. There's quite a lot of vocabulary words today. So both these clocks show the same time. So here's an analog clock and here's a digital clock. Probably on your phones, you're used to seeing a clock like this. However, this is an analog clock. The hour hand is pointing to the 8 and the minute hand is pointing straight up at 12. So the minute hand moves from number to number in 5 minutes. So you're going to see how it jumps right here. They're counting by 5. So you start at, when you're at the 0, you're at 0 minutes. Then when it gets to the 1, it's actually at 5. When it gets to the 2, it's at 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55. And then actually you don't count 60. It comes back to 0. So you can see, although here it does show 60. So here's where you can see the minutes come around 5 all the way. And then at the end of 60 minutes is when the next hour changes. So there are 60 minutes in an hour, which is why it shows 60 right here, because there's 60 total. However, and we'll practice how we write it down, when it's pointed straight up, it actually like becomes a new hour and starts over with 0 minutes. So we'll practice. The hour hand moves from number to number in 60 minutes. So it's 30 minutes and half an hour. So that would make sense. If the whole is 60, if you chop it in half of it would be 30, okay? That's a doubles fact because 30 plus 30 is 60. You can use AM and PM to tell about time. So use AM for morning times and PM for afternoon or evening times. So you would say you woke up at 8 a.m. and you go to bed at 8 p.m. So when I invite you to your Zoom meetings every day, it says 3:30 p.m. because it's in the afternoon. So your word bank, you have minute hand, minute, hour hand, hour, half hour, AM, and PM. So there's a lot going on today. So I really encourage you to practice saying it out loud, practice actually doing it with your little clock, and then have fun practicing with family members and trying it at home. Maybe you have some siblings or some cousins or parents or grandparents or aunts and uncles that would practice reading a clock with you every day, which would be wonderful. Okay, we always go around clockwise. So that's starting on the right, coming down and over to the left. That's why when you guys sit in a circle around morning meeting and I say pass it clockwise when we do our handshake, the handshake comes around this way. So we're practicing, like, imagine sitting down on the carpet, right? Our handshake always comes around this way. That's also the direction of the time. When you start here and come around, any number that the hour hand has passed is what hour we are in the middle of. So we've passed 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have not yet passed the 7. So we're still in the 6 o'clock hour. So what you can do is play by moving this blue hand until the red hand matches. So if I move my clock here, that'll match. Now you can tell in both of these that the hour hand is getting very, very close to the next hour. It's not quite there yet. There's still a few minutes left. It's like a birthday party, basically. At that time, whoop, it's the next one's birthday. So it's almost the 7th birthday, but not quite. Okay, so the hour that's passed is 6. And then for the minute hand, we're going to count by 5s. And you can check it. I would encourage you to count on here and then check it on your yellow clock. So if you did 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Start memorizing that this is 30, 35, 40, 45. If you make this clock look the same, you can check it right here and say, oh, yep, that is minute number 45. Okay, so this is helpful for checking your answer. It'll also be faster to count if you start memorizing that this is always the beginning of the hour. And because this is mid-hour, this is always going to be 30 minutes down here, and then you keep counting. So if you're really good at counting fives, which I know you all are, it'll be a lot faster to tell time. So moving over here, we're gonna look at the hour hand first, see what it's gone by. Okay, it had its 1 o'clock birthday, 2 o'clock birthday, 3 o'clock birthday, not quite at 4. Okay, the hour hand is the shorter one. So it has turned 3. We are not to the 4 o'clock yet. Then to the minutes, we're gonna count by fives. 5, 10, 15, 20. What I would encourage you to do is swing this clock around. We just keep going and going and going until this little hand is pointed at the 3. Okay, now it's pointed at the 3. The big hands, though, I wish the blue and the red matched, but they're opposite, which is, sorry guys. The long hand is pointed at the 4. So I'm gonna keep going until the long hand's at the 4. So when I counted this, 5, 10, 15, 20, it should match this. One way you can check yourself accidentally if you start counting here by fives and you go 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. If you looked it on here at the same, then you would catch your mistake and say, oh, instead of skip counting, starting here at 0 and moving over 5 minutes, right? Okay, you'd find your error. So that's why these clocks are really cool to help with that. So the time here is 3:20. Okay, so go ahead and practice number 3 and 4. And these are really good things too. Like, go ahead and talk to family members about it as well. The hour hand is the shorter hand. So on here, this is the hour hand. This is the hour hand. Okay, the hour hand is the short hand. The minute is longer. One way that you can remember that is the word hour is actually shorter. The word minute is actually longer. So that may help you remember which one is which. The hour is shorter, the minute is longer. Okay, so if that helps, then do that trick to help your brain remember it. Do you understand? If a clock shows 9 o'clock, what will the time be 5 minutes later? So I'm gonna make it show 9 o'clock. That means 9 o'clock is the hour hand, so I'm gonna keep trending this until the hour gets to the 9. And if it's at 9 o'clock, I know that the minute hand has to be straight up. Okay, so this is 9 o'clock. The hour point is pointing at the 9. The minute is pointing right up at the top. So this is 9. What time will it be 5 minutes later? Okay, let's move it 5 minutes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, guys, what time would that be? Remember, the hour hand goes on this side. Then you have your colon, and then the minutes come on this. This is the ones place. This is the tens place. There's always a ones place and a tens place in the minutes. Okay, so what you don't want to do, that's a 9, is this. It doesn't say a time. You need a ones place and a fives place. Now, be careful. Should it look like this or this? Notice there's a big difference between 5 and 50. Be careful of what digit goes in the ones place. Here we have a ones place. And if this is the only ones place and there is no tens place, what digit should go in the tens place? Okay, moving on. You're gonna keep working on the time. And number 6, I'll do this one with you just so for a little bit more practice. Okay, I'm gonna make my clock look like this. The little hand has gone past the 9. The big hand is pointed at the 3. Okay, so if it's gone past the 9, it's had the 9's birthday already. And here we're gonna count 5, 10, 15. And I can look here to check it, 9, 15. Okay, so that looks right. All right, you do number 6 on your own. And then number 7, circle AM or PM to tell when you do each activity. I'll read it all to you. I'll do the first one with you and then you do the next 2. Watch the sunrise at 5:25. If it's the sunrise, that means when the sun is coming up in the morning. So that would be a.m., 5:25 a.m. Take a music lesson after school at 4:15. It's after school. It's going to be in the afternoon, evening. Brush your teeth before bedtime. Ooh, at 8:35. So is that a.m. or p.m.? Eat breakfast at 7:20 a.m. or p.m. Okay, here we're going to complete the pattern. We're skip counting. Yay! I do see the hours don't change. 777. I see the minutes changing though. So here you can do the skip pattern. 0 plus what equals 5. 5 plus what equals 10, right? Every time you're adding something. So then 10 plus what equals what's the next thing? It should be the same addition every single time. And the back side, what is the time between the two times shown on the clock? So here we have this clock. Figure out what time this is. It's gone past the 1, past the 2. It's getting to the 3, but not quite yet. And then you're going to count by 5s. Then here, we've gotten past the 2. Count the minute hand. Okay, so this is going to be 2 something. This is going to be 2 something. What time came right in between those two times? So if we were skip counting, we want to know what this time was. Number 10, look at the clock. What does the time show? Here are the options. Please don't just pick one. Take some time to build it. Remember, you can use this as well. And finally, journal. Chloe says she woke up at 7 p.m. and came home from school at 3 a.m. today. Is Chloe correct? If not, tell the right times and explain. So if she woke up at 7 p.m., she came home at 3 a.m. You can look at the 7 and the 3. I would also suggest you look at the p.m. and the a.m. And if you forget which is which, you can look right here. A.m. is for morning, p.m. is for afternoon. Part of how I think of that is the A comes before the P. So A comes in the morning and then P is after that. Just for a little trick in case you're having a hard time remembering.